So welcome back to the fourth session of political science. Okay, and we are going to wind up this chapter. I mean, to complete the chapter now. Okay, so the last topic we are going to discuss. Everyone, please open your textbook. Okay, so we are here at page number 1920. Okay, main points of the objectives resolution completed. Okay, so Nehru forwarded this idea, okay, objectives resolution related with that a number of provisions that are added in the constitution. Okay, next one we are going to discuss about institutional arrangements. Institutional arrangements, how the government want to function, or governments want to function, or different departments want to function in the country. So the third factor ensuring effectiveness of the constitution is a balanced arrangement of the institutions of government. Okay, so we know that there are a number of governments are there, different levels of governments are there. Okay, there are different powers also are there for these governments. Okay, so power should be equally divided. Okay, clear or not? A balanced provision should be there, balanced allocation of power. The basic principle is the government must be democratic and committed to the welfare of the people. So government is must be a democratic government and it should be stand for the development of the people. The Constituent Assembly spent a lot of time on evolving the right balance among the various institutions like the executive, legislature, and the judiciary. So the Constituent Assembly spent more time, a lot of time, to discuss about sharing the power among these three organs of the government: executive, legislature, and judiciary. Okay, underline that. This led to the adoption of the parliamentary form of the federal government. Finally, the government adopted, I mean, the Constituent Assembly adopted the parliamentary form of the federal arrangement, parliamentary form of the government. Okay, the Constituent Assembly finally accepted the parliamentary form of federal government in India. Okay, which would distribute the governmental powers between the next page legislature and executive on the one hand and between the states and the central government on the other. So a parliamentary type of democracy where power is basically divided into two organs of the government, the executive and legislature. Judiciary is separated here, and different levels of the government. Okay, the state governments and the union government. Union government, perfect division of power, balanced power sharing is there. So while evolving the most balanced governmental arrangement, the makers of our constitution did not hesitate to learn from experiments and experiences of other countries. Okay, so we know that before the formation of the country called India and the Indian Constitution, number of new countries formed, national states formed, a number of new constitutions came into effect. So the constitution makers of our country, they carefully observed all those constitutions and changes in the society. Okay, changes in the society of those countries related with the newly formulated constitution. Okay, so basically the framers, I mean the makers of the Indian Constitution, they did not hesitate to learn from experiment and experiences of other countries. So we learned a number of rules and its effects on the society from the experience of other countries. Okay. Indeed, it is a testament of their wide learning that they could lay their hands upon the intellectual argument or historical example that was necessary for fulfilling the task at hand. So, the makers of the Indian Constitution basically they used the experiments or experience of other countries to create our constitution there. So here you can see here, indeed it is a testament to their wide learning. They learned a number of things from the history of other countries and its constitutions. Okay, that they could lay their hands upon an intellectual argument or historical example that was necessary for fulfilling the task at hand. Then what is necessary? Okay, intellectual approach or what we learn from the experience. Okay, what is necessary to add the government or the Constituent Assembly made that in their constitution or add that in our constitution. So they borrowed a number of provisions from different countries. So we can say that a number of provisions in our constitution, it is basically borrowed from other countries' constitutions, different countries' constitutions. Okay, so borrowing these ideas was not slavish imitation. It is not just a copying, cut and paste. It is not a copy and paste constitution. Indian constitution is not a copy and paste constitution. It is not just a slavish imitation. Far from it, each provision of the constitution had to be defended on grounds that it was suited to Indian problems and aspiration. So the provisions that we copied from other constitution and added in the Indian constitution, okay, it is not just adding the provision in the constitution. Observe that all those provisions of the rules and regulations is good for our country or not. Okay, so if they find so, if it is good, okay, it will match with, it is matching with or suited with the Indian problems and aspirations. They added all these rules and regulations in the Indian constitution. India was extremely lucky to have an assembly that instead of being parochial in its outlook, okay, parochial in the sense narrow, okay, parochial in its outlook, could take the best available everywhere in the world and make it their own. Okay, so Indian constitution makers and their outlook, it's not narrow. It's not a narrow. Basically, they created the constitution and added the provisions in the Indian constitution. Basically, that is adopted from other constitution is only for the sake of the development of the society. Development of the society. Okay, just read up to here. Next one box is there for us. Okay. One likes to ask whether there can be anything new in a constitution framed at this hour in the history of the world. The only new thing, if there can be any in a constitution framed so late in the day, are the variations made to remove the faults and to accommodate it to the needs of the country. So Dr. P.R. Ambedkar. Okay, which means we are making a constitution. We made a constitution. Okay. Clear. It is not just for the sake of this period. Okay. It is for the development of the entire society in the future or accommodate the needs of the country, and remove all the faults and problems from the present society. That's what Ambedkar's comment on Indian constitution. Okay. Next one, the provisions adapted from constitutions of different countries. We already discussed that there are a number of provisions are there in the Indian constitution, basically that adopted from other countries' constitutions. Okay, other countries' constitution. So from British constitution, what are the provisions we adopted from the British constitution? What are they? First of all, first past the post. What is that? Had this word anyway? This sentence? No. Do you know the meaning of this one? First past the vote. Sorry. First past the post. An idea? Nothing but. So, a right to vote. Okay. One person, one voter. Okay. The person, those who receives more number of voter will declare as elected. Okay. That method is basically termed as a first past the post. Clear? And a voting system in which one person can choose only one candidate. Clear or not? One person can choose only one candidate. The person or the candidate, those who receive more number of votes, declared the person, those who won. Okay. Next one, parliamentary form of government. So first past the post, that is adopted from the British Constitution. Second one, parliamentary form of the government. So we know that democracy. 1 minute. Okay, so these are the things basically we adopted from the British Constitution. First one, first past the post. Second one, the parliamentary form of the government. So democracy, we know that another one more system is this called to be the presidential system of democracy. Presidential system, basically America is following that. So British method is a parliamentary form, okay, with two houses basically. Okay, two houses. In India, two houses are there for the parliament, the Lok Sabha and the Raj Sabha, the House of the Commons and House of the Wise Men. Okay, so the India of the, sorry, next one, the idea of the rule of the law. Okay, what is that? The idea of rule of the law. Any idea about that? What do you mean by the idea of rule of the law?
Equality.
What is the rule of the law?
Equal treatment.
Okay, I can hear you, Aishwarya. Okay. Let me, I will speak about that. Okay, so the idea of the rule of law, nothing but all are equal before the law. Okay, all are equal before the law. There is no special care for anyone. All are equal. Okay, irrespective of caste, creed, gender, religion. Okay, all are equal before the law. Next one, institution of the speaker and her or his role. Okay, so we know that in the parliament or in the legislature, speaker will be there, right? The person that's controlling the houses. Okay, house or the houses, right? Lok Sabha speaker and the Rajya Sabha speaker. Okay, who the Rajya Sabha speaker? This present Rajya Sabha speaker? No idea. Write down, write down, write down. Find the names of I'm not going to give the answer. I'm giving the question now. Okay. Find out the name of the Lok Sabha Speaker of Indian Parliament, Lok Sabha Speaker, and the Rajya Sabha Speaker. Rajya Sabha Speaker. Okay, find it out. Tell me tomorrow. Okay, so law making procedure, law making procedure. So perfect procedure is there to create or to make or amend laws in India. Okay, so that procedure also adopted from the British Parliament, British Parliament. So these are the things basically adopted from the British Constitution. 5 main provisions are there. One is first past the post, that is related with the election and voting system. Next one, parliamentary form of the government. Okay, the idea of the rule of the law, the institution of the speaker and her role in the parliament, law making procedure in the parliament, law making procedure in the parliament. These things basically adopted from the British Constitution. British Constitution. Underline that all. Okay. Important for the examination. Next one, the United States Constitution. United States Constitution. From that constitution also, we adopted two aspects or two provisions. First of all, Charter of Fundamental Rights. Charter of Fundamental Rights. Okay, so we know that 6 fundamental rights are there in India, right? All those fundamental rights basically adopted from the United States Constitution. United States Constitution, US Constitution. This one is a UK Constitution. Okay. Next one, power of judicial review and independence of the judiciary. Power of judicial review. Okay. And independence of the judiciary. Judiciary is separated from legislature and executive. And the executive. We are not, what do you can say? We are unable to accept the rule or the judgment of the lower court. We are able to give appeal in the higher courts. Appeal in the higher courts there, right? So judicial review also is there. Okay. So these two conditions, they are basically from, or these two provisions from the United States Constitution. United States Constitution. What are the Charter of the Fundamental Rights, power of judicial review, and independence of the judiciary. Independence of the judiciary. Next one, the Irish Constitution. Irish Constitution. Okay, directive principles of the state policy. Okay, what is that? From the Irish Constitution, we adopted directive principles of the state policy. As per that, okay, or this giving a clear-cut indication or clear-cut idea how the government want to function, responsibilities of the government. Okay, so that we adopted from the Irish Constitution. Irish Constitution. Clear or not? Okay, that's it. Directive principles of the state policy. Next one, French Constitution. French Constitution. So we adopted the idea of the principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity. So we know that most of the makers of Indian Constitution, they give a stress on these 3 values or these 3 principles like liberty, equality, and fraternity. And fraternity that is adopted from the French Constitution. French Constitution 1. Okay. Next one from the Canadian Constitution. Canadian Constitution. Right or not? So the quasi-federal form of the government, which means a federal system with a strong central government. That's what a quasi-federal form of government. Okay, a federal system with a strong central government. The idea of residual powers. Residual powers there. So already we know that there are 4 lists are there. What are the 4 lists there? The union list, concurrent list, state list, residual list. Okay, so the residual powers are divided among the state and the central government related with the constitution. Okay, so residual powers, residual powers. So these are the basic things we adopted from different other constitutions. Okay, so most of the important aspects of the Indian Constitution is lay on these principles, right? What are they? What are they? Okay, first past, the post, parliamentary form of the government, the idea of the rule of the law, institution of the speaker and her or his role in the parliament, lawmaking procedure in the parliament, okay, charter of the fundamental rights, power of judicial review and independence of the judiciary, Canadian constitution, a quasi-federal form of government, a federal system which a strong central government, the idea of residual powers, from the French constitution, the principles of liberty, equality and fraternity, and from the Irish constitution, the directive principles of the state policy. Okay, these are the major provisions we adopted from other countries' constitutions. Okay, this is all about this first chapter. Okay, basically studied. Okay, why the constitution and how the constitution is prepared by the makers of the Indian constitution. Indian constitution. So number of questions are important from this chapter. Okay, many are there. So just to go to the exercise part. Okay, exercise part. Okay, there are 2-3 exercises are there. Coming to question number 1 to 5. 1 to 5. Okay, that is choose the correct answer. Okay, you can choose that and write these answers and submit it. Next one, why it is necessary? I mean the sixth question. Come to the sixth question. Why it is it necessary for a country to have a clear demarcation of powers and responsibilities in the constitution? What would happen in the absence of such a demarcation? Basically, distinguish. The constitution is distinguishing or separating the powers. Okay, why it is important? That's what the question. Okay, question number 7. Why is it necessary for the constitution to place limitations on the rule? Is can there be a constitution that gives no power at all to the citizen? Want to find out and write that answer. Okay, eighth question. Eighth question. The Japanese constitution was made with the US occupation army was still in the control of Japan after its defeat in the Second World War. The Japanese constitution could not have had any provision that US government did not like. Do you see any problem in this way of making a constitution? In which way was the Indian experience different from this? Find out this answer also. Okay, so eighth question you need to find out. Impossible 4. Okay, I will give that answer. Okay, next ninth one. It's a case study. Rajat asked his teacher this question. The constitution is a 50 years old and therefore outdated book. No one took my consent for implementing it. It is written in such a tough language that I cannot understand it. Tell me, why should I obey this document? If you were the teacher, how would you answer? Okay, what is your answer? Tell me, anyone? The constitution is a what kind of document? What kind of document is Indian constitution? No answers?
Document with rules and regulations that citizens must follow.
Okay, again, what is the trouble, Miss Aisaria? Okay, so it's called a living document, right? Living document, fine. So let it. So just keep that idea in your mind and write that answer. Write that answer there. Okay, and next one. In a discussion on the experience of the working of our constitution, 3 speakers took 3 different positions. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 people. And do you agree with any of these positions? If yes, why? If not, what is your own position? Okay, if you are agreeing with any of these statements, so you can agree with that with a reason. If you are not agreeing, you want to write that reason and you want to give another comment related with the Indian constitution. So all these questions you want to answer. One other assignment is there for you, right? Yes. Okay, so you take 2-3 days to complete this. Okay, so next Monday. Other assignments are there. That's why I'm giving more time for this. Okay, complete it and submit on next Monday. Okay, so next activity is there. One more activity is there. Sheer number of words are there. Clear? Okay. While discussing this chapter, I used the general meaning to understand. Clear? So such kind of words you have to find out. And create your own working dictionary. You know what's a working dictionary? Want to read each chapter? Very hard words you want to arrange in alphabetical order along with the meaning. Right or not? So use a notebook for that. Clear? Is that clear or not? It's called a working dictionary. Basically, for political science and for economics also, we are able to create that. Okay, so just use a notebook and start writing. and these things, I mean, the difficult words along with its meaning, and arrange that in alphabetical order. So leave 2 pages for one particular letter. Okay, like that, like a dictionary, you should arrange that. Okay, so read it properly and find out the important words there. So remember one thing: if you are preparing such kind of a dictionary, when we'll meet, if you're submitting, so I will give a prize for the person who perfectly prepared the working dictionary with more number of words in the sense from the textbook. Okay, from our own textbook. You can use both the textbook, like what is that, the Indian Constitution at Work and the political theory. Okay, political theory, 2 textbooks you can use. Okay, from the completed chapters, find out the words and its meaning. Okay, so it is helpful for you to understand the topic somewhat easier. Okay, so completed this chapter, and I'm going to wind up this class now. Okay, so any doubts are there? Any clarification? At the same time, you want to remember one thing: if any notes are clear, okay, just check in your collection there. Okay, so I uploaded almost all the notes. By chance, if any missing is there, just inform me. I will do the same. I will upload that. Okay. Anything else? Grishma Joshi, can you hear me? Grishma? So the connectivity issue is with Grishma, I think so. Okay. Anyway, good luck. We'll meet in the next class. So next class, we will discuss the chapter from political theory. Okay, so already with that textbook, political theory textbook. Okay, so we want to speed up because we want to complete more chapters. Nearly again 10 more chapters are there for us. Okay, clear or not? So we will get accurate or sufficient number of periods. So want to cooperate. Okay, if giving any homeworks means we want to complete that in time. Okay. Okay, everyone, thank you.